Welcome back to RBP. I'm your host, Ross Bolen, here with a man who has scarred more children than most, Jared Borislow.
They'll never look at applesauce the same way again.
I feel like the Bone Zone really scars us all on a level you refuse to acknowledge, and I will never stop trying to hold you accountable for that, Jared. Ever.
I mean,
It's my pledge to you.
the Bone Zone is, I would argue, the one positive thing I bring to the world.
Oh, there are many positives, including that ass
I mean,
that you bring to the world, Jared.
I bring that to the fucking masses, man.
You do. I was cruising through the neighborhood earlier, and what I mean by that is I was on the way to the office, driving through our neighborhood, and I was like, God damn. Some of these people have a whole lot of front yard, and I have never seen them in it. A single time. And the reason I was really speculating on this today is that we have pretty nice fall-esque weather outside, right? We don't really get normal seasons here in Texas, for those of you who aren't aware, at least not in Central Texas. Some areas of Texas get more normal seasons than we do in Central Texas and in Houston, where I was born and raised. Now we're in Austin, Texas with our company Bolen Media, but it's very nice outside.
Yeah, to put this in perspective, it's like 71 degrees out, whereas 1 year ago, it was there was 2 feet of snow and we had no power.
It was a frozen tundra. Yeah, freeze-apocalypse occurred. So you never know what you're going to get. It's a mixed bag. Right now we have California weather. Last year this time we had North Dakota weather, which it turns out does, in fact, exist. And there are residents, more than 6, all of which I've heard from at this point. But it just got me thinking, dude, in Austin, Texas, that is crazy valuable square footage, baby. That's a garage apartment. That's another floor. Okay, here's the thing. In the 1950s or 40s or 60s, when a lot of these houses were built, it made sense. This was a small town. In Houston, we have the same thing. Suburbs, these yards that nobody is fucking using, but particularly the front yard. Back in the day when you left your door unlocked and the kids could play in the neighborhood or whatever, nobody's going outside anymore. And if they do, it's in the backyard where they're surrounded by a fence.
You're blowing my mind right now.
I'm serious. It's an insane concept that we are wasting hundreds and hundreds of millions of square feet of American soil on front yards. And here's the even crazier thing, Jared. Consider this. The amount of water wasted. Watering these lawns. Don't we have a water crisis in cities in our country? And then elsewhere, enormous water crises, multiplication, exponential water crises. But the point is, these front yards absorb a ton of water. We water our lawns.
Well, so
we spend a lot of time and energy on our lawns.
Now you've made a lot of great points. I will say societally and social construct-wise, the front lawn is a status symbol, right? The front lawn, and I think it's totally stupid. If you look at how I, generally look with my face and everything,
sure.
Clearly I don't care much about status symbols, right?
Maybe not.
I think the lawn is stupid. I agree it's a massive waste of water. But you can kind of
Based on your face.
You can kind of look at somebody's front lawn and get a very good feeling for what that person is like.
Well, sure. Really rich people have landscapers and shit, and they really do make it this point of pride thing with their front lawn. Then there's our front lawn here at Bolen Media, where there's one tree that was planted in an effort to have a tree, and that tree has since died on the vine, if you will. It's about 3 feet tall and has failed to grow past that point. So we don't have a landscaper, you know what I'm saying? We don't have anybody coming over here and making sure that we've got flower beds or whatever,
yeah.
Right? But some people do. And then there's my neighbor across the street, the hippies, who just let their lawn, it's all natural. It's like the equivalent of a woman when you take down her pants and there's just a sprawling bush. That's my neighbor's lawn.
Yeah, it gets egregious. It's also a corner lot, and so I have to creep out really far into the street to where I could get hit by a car just because I can't see around their massive bush.
When's the last time you saw bush? Not online.
So I told you the other day in my dream, I was at a steakhouse next to George W. Bush.
That was okay. Good answer. Really good answer. I don't think I've seen bush since childhood, man. You know? I never got that. We didn't get that experience. In the same way, old dudes in their 80s or whatever never got the experience of these all shaven, the opposite. We never got bush. we did get George Bush and George W. Bush. 2 Bushes.
So
Lots of Bush. Too much Bush, some would argue.
some would argue that.
Some would argue.
I think society is to blame for the front yard's current state, right?
Where we also are bushless
Yes. Yeah.
currently at Bolen Media.
I agree with you. We should be repurposing front yards. Screw the status symbol. Screw everything that we currently think about front yards. Turn them into usable space, which is why I propose we get a Airstream trailer, put it in your front yard, and then rent it out to somebody.
Okay, here's the thing. These dudes hit us up that own this company called Free Water, I believe it is, and they want us to like interview their CEO. And they basically have cartoned water that they sell ad space on. So it pays for itself or something like that. And it's free for everybody. I don't know. But that also got me thinking. It's like this repurposing idea. Like maybe this is the first truly great idea I've ever had. Repurposing the American front lawn.
Ross, do you know how much money you could make if you put an Airstream trailer on your front yard? It's big enough for an Airstream. It would look kind of cool. And you could rent it out for legitimately in Austin, $2,500 a month.
I could get a Cousin Eddie type of situation. A guy emptying his fucking, what's it called that they have in an RV?
Oh, septic?
His septic tank into the sewer. Shitter's full. I could have that dream in my front yard. The American dream.
You actually have. So I walk around the neighborhood all the time to like get some exercise and some vitamin D.
You do. You're a big walk guy. I respect it.
So I've seen all your neighbors' front yards. And you have at least 3 neighbors who do have RVs either in their driveway or like in their kind of like side
it's a big Austin
area.
Thing.
It really is. But none of them are in the front yard.
Wasted space,
They're in
Jared.
the driveway. Driveway is the usable space.
Mm-hmm. You think we should put taco trucks in the Bolen Media HQ front yard to get some extra revenue going?
I mean, I think let's just throw
taco trucks are huge. People love taco trucks.
Why don't we get a tent, throw Constant Kate in there, charge them $1,500 a month?
I mean, that's definitely. Look, all these people are coming down from California, where literally in some cases are paying $1,500 a month for a tent in an alley, with like some guy shitting in a box 6 feet away. You don't even get a septic tank.
Nope.
But you do here at Bolen Media for $1,500 a month, where you can live in Jared and I's front yard with Cade.
Yeah, sorry, guys. We should say you are living with Cade in the tent.
With Cade in the tent. And you have to share one tent. You can't get 2 tents. Sorry.
We don't have room for that.
No, we've got other people in other tents occupying. The whole yard is filled with tents by next week. Anyway, I think we save a lot of water and energy. And I'm just saying, somebody out there who's like an Elon Musk type, get on the yard thing. I'm not an engineer. I'm not going to do it. I'm a simple entrepreneur.
Now, I have an issue. You and I have frequently discussed the concept of xeriscaping a yard.
I fucking hate it.
Now, you say you hate it, but that is the number one way that a front yard can no longer cost water.
Where I should specify is that I fucking hate it in the backyard.
Oh,
Front yard makes perfect sense to me, especially now. But the situation I had at my old house with xeriscaping was front and backyard, and I have dogs.
Oh, yeah. I hate when my dog poops on rocks because then I go to grab it and then the rocks cut through the thing and I got a handful of poo.
This was years of my life, Jared.
And then I need to warn everybody around me that I have a poop hand so they don't try to like shake my hand. I go, poop hand!
Poop hand! Yeah, you have to announce it.
Uh-huh.
It's like the weed cough.
It's like...
Which we're still doing in 2022.
We are. And what somebody said was one of their favorite moments from last year on RBP, which I forgot about, but was, I think, the hardest I laughed was...
I forgot too, honestly.
The people cleaning up a hotel room. If there's blood, you need to scream, blood room!
People also love that I shit myself. Blood and poo. Y'all are big fans of.
Was it FBI? Wait, FBE, full body explosion? What's the FBI? Full body implosion.
Full body inspector. It's the shirt that creepy dudes wear on spring break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Female body inspector. That's what it is. Female body inspector.
Hey, he's got the shirt.
He must. It's cool. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That guy, he does assault.
Okay.
Stay away from the female body inspector T-shirt wearer this March when you're on spring break.
Now that we are selling merch here at Bolen Media, bolenmedia.com/shop, we have a ton of merch. It's amazing. Check it out. Very high quality.
Should we sell female body inspector shirts?
I think we should do a best of hits. We should do a boardwalk collection, a boardwalk T-shirt collection.
I love this.
And sell a bunch of funny like boardwalk style T-shirts.
Yeah, people don't realize this, but we're fully aware of the boardwalk T-shirt situation down here in Texas even because we have Galveston where they try to replicate what they can about the Jersey Shore which is somehow exponentially nicer as Galveston's beach is a literal swamp.
Their beach is a piece of cement meant to stop hurricane storm surges.
Covered in seaweed. It's bizarre. Today's episode of RBP is brought to you by Birddogs. Birddogs, making the most comfortable shorts in the world with the built-in underwear you know and love for living life and making love. It's like, why wear shorts with underwear when you can wear even better shorts with the underwear built in, thus creating less laundry, thus saving the planet, thus making you a hero who's also better looking and more comfortable. Birddogs, you silly bastard. But did you know they make pants as well for these winter months? Pants for work, pants for play. J-Bone is currently decked out in a full-blown Birddogs kit. He's got the Birddogs joggers. He's got the Birddogs t-shirt. Behind him, he's got the Birddogs whistling football, which you get for free with your order when you go to birddogs.com and use the code RBP at checkout. It's like the Nerf football you grew up with and loved, and you threw it through the air and it would go... You're going to need one in 2022 because we're going back outside and we're playing fucking catch.
In the backyard, not the front yard.
In the backyard, not the front yard. Birddogs.com, code RBP when you check out to get the most comfortable pants, shorts, both, and the joggers. Phenomenal joggers. J-Bone's ass popping.
Oh my gosh.
In the joggers.
I look like I have another J-Bone
inside your
curled
pants.
up in the fetal position, one for each ass cheek.
You look like Jennifer Lopez.
Well, they call me J-Bo.
Wow. RBP listeners, go to birddogs.com, use the code RBP at checkout. Get that free whistling football with your order. Change your life today. It's time for some insane headlines of the day. Really, I just have the one that I really want to discuss, and it's been plastered all over the internet the last few days. A Turkish farmer tests out VR goggles on cows to get more milk. Essentially, this farmer has taken his livestock into the metaverse in an effort to make them happier. Right? The cows are bored. They're just standing in a penned-in area all day long.
In winter especially.
Grazing, miserable, just generally a boring life as this farmer sees it. And he wants these cows to be partying, living la vida loca, so that they'll produce more coca. Or no, that's not what, it's just milk. They want them, how do you say milk and leche? Coca. What? That's a cow.
Yeah.
Now that's a cow. Yeah, but so
Cash cow.
Literally, there are photos of this because it sounds like bullshit. It sounds like an onion story.
That's a good one.
Right?
Bullshit.
Yeah, pun intended. And there are photos though of this fucking farmer standing there like strapping goggles onto these cows. It looks very real. The dude's name is Izzet Kokak, which is an incredible name. Izzet. I love that. He's the Russian Lizzo. In my mind.
He's Turkish.
Whatever. They're Russian cows, though. Why is that?
I don't know. In
You
Turkey,
figure do they don't have their own cows? They got to take the Russians' cows. Is this one of the points of conflict between Turkey and Russia?
maybe the Turkish cows aren't down with the metaverse.
Huh. Okay, there was previous coverage, it says, of Russian cows fitted with VR goggles. The VR headsets were claimed to help cows relax by offering them sun-filled views of green pastures so that the animals would be happier and produce more milk, according to interestingengineering.com. Now, a farmer in Turkey is testing the same theory on his own cows. Izzet Kokak, a cattle breeder and rancher living in Turkey, has begun putting VR headsets on some of his cows to see if animals would indeed produce more milk when they believe they're in a nice sunny setting outside rather than in a milking parlor in Turkey.
We have one of those in the spare bedroom here.
We do. We have been calling it the milking parlor, just the spare bedroom as a whole. You've seen 50 Shades of Grey. You know the red room? We have the milking parlor here at Bolen Media. According to the Turkish news outlet Anadolu Ajansi, that was all right. Kokak thought that tricking the cows into thinking they were actually outside would make them happier, produce more milk since they're trapped indoors, especially in winter. It sounds like essentially he's trying to solve what you have said you suffer from.
Seasonal affective disorder.
But for the cows.
Yeah.
He doesn't want sad cows. Should we do this with you? Here's what we do. We slap a VR goggle headset on you so that when you're sitting at your desk, you think you're working on a beach that's not Galveston. Let's say the Bahamas, somewhere in the Bahamas. You think you're working on a beach in the Bahamas. Would that make you more productive?
Well, how about this? We're going to need to do a control variable. So you should actually send me to a beach in the Bahamas so we can get the control. And then afterwards, we can test out the headset.
Well, I'm not trying to figure out if you'd be as productive if you were actually in the Bahamas. I'm just trying to figure out if you'd be more productive here wearing a VR headset that made you think you were in the Bahamas.
That's against scientific theory. You're going to have to send me to the Bahamas.
It's also probably a HIPAA violation.
It might be a HIPAA violation.
Yeah. Everything is a HIPAA violation.
Is this what this farmer doing? A HIPAA violation?
I'm quite certain that Peter will have some things to say about him entering his livestock into the metaverse for the sake of more milk.
This is a prequel to Black Mirror, I feel like.
This is a Black Mirror episode come to life, for sure. It's also Big Milk, once again, going the evil route.
What's funny is Big Milk is my nickname in the milking parlor. Yeah, so.
Yeah, they call you the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of them. All with their just VR headsets on.
Okay, it says the VR headsets for cattle were initially tested in Moscow and were reportedly developed in coordination with veterinarians. What does that fucking mean? Reportedly in coordination with veterinarians? They either were developed in coordination with veterinarians or they weren't. It's just bad journalism.
Do you think Elon Musk is involved with this? It seems like something he'd be involved in.
InterestedEngineering.com. He does like to get on these like obscure tech beats, right?
Yeah. Well,
like the one you bring up is when he tried to he wanted to build the fucking
submarine
to save the cave people.
Yeah, the reason I brought up Elon Musk, you said that something about a musk cow, right? Musk cow?
Musk cow?
Yeah.
What's a musk cow?
Oh, you said it was in Moscow. Sorry.
Oh, Moscow.
Okay,
yeah, that's a city it's the capital of Russia,
okay.
Jared.
Thought it was a cow that Elon Musk slapped something on.
Learn something about the former Soviet Union one time in your life. Show some respect to the former USSR. That was in my lifetime.
That's crazy. Was it in my? No, it was not.
Was it in my lifetime? When did the USSR collapse?
1987. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall.
1991. Yeah, bro, I was super duper alive.
I was just throwing a guess out there, trying to look smart.
1991.
Wow. Yeah, I was not alive. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that ass.
It's Ronald Reagan, man.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear up this ass.
Is this porn Reagan? Reagan and Gorbachev about to fuck in a porn right now? That's something I'd watch. See, the thing is, I really actually would. Like, if I was scrolling the porn site and it was like, girl on girl, threesome, 2 girls and a guy, the flip of that, and then Reagan fucking Gorbachev.
Fall of the Berlin Wall.
I'd be like, yep, that's the one tonight. That's going to get me all the way home. I'm serious. Not even joking.
No, I agree. It's like what are you gonna watch? You're gonna watch whatever you normally like. Oh, threesome. What? No, I'm gonna watch Nailin' Palin with Lisa Ann because it's political. You can knock out political commentary and porn at the same time.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Didn't you interview Lisa Ann?
Did I interview her? No, I had a phone call. Micah and I, our original co-host on the Ross Bolen podcast, producer Micah and I had a call with Lisa Ann, and she was terrifying. She was like. The beginning of the call, she was like, let me get one thing straight. I don't fuck around. And we were like, okay? What? She took it like more seriously than any call I've ever been on in my life. And like by the end of it was like, yeah, I just don't see what y'all bring to the table. And we were like, cool. We appreciate your time. And that was it. Dead serious. She was like, I don't see what you bring to the table. And we weren't even offering sex. We were offering partnership in the marketing capacity. And had millions of followers at that point at our company. So it was funny. Me and Micah were terrible. Seriously, it was like a horrifying experience. We walked away like, so we just got punked by Lisa Ann, which is sort of cool, but also really emasculating somehow. Just like a 2 dudes on one on the call, You
both got cucked by Lisa Ann.
Yeah. It was fucked up. I wish somebody would have strapped VR headsets on us at that point and let us watch one of her porns while we were on the call instead of just letting us be berated by her for 20 minutes.
This is the first ever threesome double cucking, where it's a threesome, but 2 of the guys are cucks, and she's just in there fucking lambasting you.
Yeah, she really laid into us. She pegged us both. Verbally. She verbally pegged Micah and I. It's fucked up.
That's fucking hot.
Yeah, so anyway, good for the cows. I'm actually kind of stoked for them. I had a buddy in town last weekend, a high school friend, one of my best friends from high school that I've kept up with the whole time. And he actually kicked it with Barrett and I. Barrett, my co-host on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, and the metaverse kept coming up. And this dude refused to talk about it. He was like, I will not allow the metaverse to be a part of this conversation and suck up our friendship time. And we were like, you have to acknowledge this, bro. It's coming. It's here. We're already there. For all you know, we've all got VR headsets on right now. And this isn't even the real world. Have you seen the fucking Matrix? These cows are in it.
Okay. So as somebody who's currently reading Ready Player One, which is legitimately, without spoiling the book.
What page are you on, like 9?
Do you actually want to know?
You bring it up every episode. I'm just saying.
Do you actually want to know?
Yeah.
As of this morning, which I read it this morning.
Wow. Did you read during your 1 hour of phoneless morning time?
I did, Ross.
This is impressive stuff.
I am over.
Hit the please clap button for yourself when you get a chance, Jared.
Please clap.
As of this morning, I'm over page 200.
Holy shit.
I'm a changed man.
You're further into that than I am with Count of Monte Cristo, and I announced that as the RBP Book Club read 2.5 years ago.
No, this is my, like, the reason why I made my New Year's resolution what I did is because I knew they were attainable. I didn't set the bar too high. I said I want to read 12 books this year. 12 months.
One book a month.
One book a month. I'm going to finish with like a week remaining.
God, you're going to be smarter.
And no phone in the morning if I wake up early. Just, okay, I have time to read.
There are not that many things that I definitively know for a fucking fact. And one of them is that reading makes you smarter. The smartest people I know, all of them read a lot of books. Girlfriend included. Crushes books. Makes me feel like a fucking ignorant moron. I'm serious. I wrote a book. Nothing came of that. I became dumber through the process. But people reading like 3 books a week and shit, I don't know how to keep up with them. And all my boys that are really smart and recommending each other books, and I'm just sitting, I'm like, Barrett's one of them. He's a reader. These people are reading, Jared. You're
reading.
one of them now. What am I doing?
Important to note, though.
Watching Reagan and Gorbachev. Fuck. It's ridiculous.
I'm not reading for the sake of like. So a lot of people nowadays that read, including my fiance, they read on a Kindle or an iPad. That's not. That is antithetical to the only reason I'm reading, which is to add analog shit into my life. I'm only reading because it is an activity that keeps me away from a screen. If I start going for the Kindle or the iPad, that's the whole thing I'm trying to avoid.
Sure.
So like, for example, people love audiobooks. Okay, I listen to so many podcasts, as we've talked about before. I listen to probably like 3 hours of podcasts a day.
What the fuck?
I'm in my commutes when I walk around when I do my walks. Okay,
God, you're
probably
deep into the
honestly
game.
Probably 2 hours.
You are the metaverse, dude.
Probably 2 hours. But if I replace that with audiobooks, I could brag and be like, "Oh, look at me! I read 200 fucking books a year. I'm a fucking badass."
Yeah, but you would be. That's the difference.
No, because I prefer a podcast. I don't want to.
But people respect book readers.
That's so stupid.
Okay, I'm with you. I've been here for years. I watch, you know how many fucking movies and TV shows I've watched, bro? How much time I've poured into this shit, TV and movies-wise? And I believe genuinely that a great TV show like The Sopranos is just as beneficial as a great book. It just takes 100 hours to watch. Literally 100 hours for the series.
And it burns your eyes unless you're wearing Felix Gray glasses.
Unless you're wearing Felix Grays. Yes, exactly, Jared. Thank you. Which I am today. But yeah, so it's look, I've never been a huge reader. I have ADD. Motherfuckers with ADD, you know, shouts to all of us because it's hard to sit still, read a book, and focus. We struggle with that, especially the dopers. Reading a good book stoned, one of the more hilariously counterproductive tasks you can do. First of all, you're forgetting actively as you read. So I'll be like, wait, what just happened last page? But then also the next day, wiped clean. So actually, really, if you wanted to reread a good book over and over and enjoy it like it was the first time on a 51st dates type of situation, this is the way to go, read stoned.
Part of me thinks, though, like, I had this thought 2 days ago where I went, wow, if I replaced all of my podcast listening with audiobooks, I would be one of the most established readers ever, but
you'd be like Malcolm fucking Gladwell.
But I'm not reading. I to my grave, I will say, audiobooks are not reading.
I agree.
You did not read this book.
I agree.
Reading is an act. It is not the accomplishment of a title.
I'm almost at the point where I want to say if you didn't read the physical copy of the book, if you read it on a fucking screen, it only half counts.
I agree with that too.
You read a half a book.
Holding the book in your hand and like getting
flipping
paper
the pages,
cuts,
that's the work.
The pages as the work.
Hard work. How did people just look at you and go, man, Jared's got man hands. You think he's been down in the mines? No. Those hands are as grizzled as they are because he's been reading his cock off for 2 straight weeks, folks.
So many paper cuts. So many paper cuts.
You ever get horny while you're reading that book? Does it ever get graphically sexual? Not yet.
No.
Have you ever been turned on by literature? Have you become aroused by the written word? It has to be in a book, because I know you've become aroused by the written word. I sext you constantly, and you're just telling me how much I make you come.
I don't think I've read a book that was outwardly sexual. Like maybe there's like a sexual line, and my brain's like, what? But then I'm so focused on reading that I can't allow the blood flow to go there. It's got to stay in my brain.
Okay, next time you're in the airport, grab yourself 50 Shades. You want a good laugh and a good hard-on at the same time. That's the place to go. It is so over-the-top stupid that it really is laugh-out-loud funny at multiple points, but then there's also this, like, there's gnarly porn words in there, so you can get a little chub on the airplane and stuff.
See, this sounds a lot like The Fall of the Berlin Wall starring Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev.
I've got a question for you, Jared. What the hell is Havana Syndrome? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I've seen this and heard about this.
Okay,
yeah.
I had a buddy, my buddy Tom, send me a link this morning. He was like, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? And I was like, absolutely the frick not. And it was actually from Wall Street Journal, which I no longer consider to be a credible news source. I'll just throw that up front. I don't
really think any news source is that credible. That's the whole point.
That's tough to argue with at this point. They've all strayed.
When I was growing up, even when I was growing up, people would say that the least biased news source was the Christian Science Monitor. And I've never read it, but like I'm inclined to believe it's at least as credible as all the other ones.
They did say Jesus was unbiased. He hung with the hookers and the prostitutes, and those are both the same thing, and the drug addicts and the lepers, just as much as he did the scholars.
Exactly.
He was unbiased.
So Havana Syndrome,
in his hang time.
Here's what I'm familiar with about the subject. I've done a little bit of reading because I like to read into various phenomena.
Sure. You're very cultured. We get it. You have a fiance.
I'm reading books.
You're anti-front yard. You're reading books.
All you can think about me is stuff we talked about this episode. I've known you for like 7 years.
Well, those are the most cultured things about you, and you've just recently introduced them into your life. Before that, you were just scum.
So Havana Syndrome is this phenomenon where diplomats around the world are getting sick when they are working at the various embassies the United States has around the globe.
Yeah, let me read you the couple opening paragraphs of this Wall Street Journal story for you to just summarize what Jared said, basically, in more official terms. So, officials serving at U.S. diplomatic missions in Geneva and Paris are suspected to have been afflicted with the mysterious neurological ailment known as Havana Syndrome, and at least one was evacuated back to the U.S. for treatment, people familiar with the incident said. Suspected attacks on U.S. officials serving in the two European cities were reported internally last summer. And this is one of the odd elements of this story that my friend actually pointed out. He's like, seems wildly underreported. And I'm like, well, yeah, but the pandemic is kind of headline dominating. Nobody gives a shit about 200 people when, there's a few million of us got the old vid every 20 minutes. So, yes, underreported is a word that I would say applies to this situation. Suspected attacks on U.S. officials serving in the two European cities were reported internally last summer to officials at those posts and eventually to the State Department in Washington. The diplomats joined as many as 200 others who came down with suspected Havana Syndrome while stationed in China, South America, and elsewhere in Europe. At least 3 Americans serving at the consulate in Geneva, a city that hosts nearly a dozen major multilateral organizations, were suspected to have been inflicted by the syndrome, which the Biden administration has dubbed an, quote, anomalous health incident, end quote. WTF, mate? What does that mean?
It's a health incident, and it's an anomaly at the same time.
So they had to medevac somebody from Switzerland to the U.S., which I imagine, if a good hospital ride in an ambulance costs about $2,000, that being medevaced from Switzerland to the U.S. has to cost about $3.8 million.
See, do you know what's going to save a lot of money on medevacing in the future? It's a metaverse medevac.
The metaverse medevac. Uh-huh. They let your live body die, but they make you think
you're still alive and being medevaced.
See? That's what I want. When I'm dying, strap the metaverse onto my face and make me think I'm being saved, and then life continues on in the metaverse as if nothing ever happened. It's a little scary to think how that could happen to you. And you.
That's literally just Westworld Season 3.
Is that also Fall Guy or Free Guy? That show with Ryan Reynolds, that movie?
It's Fall Guys.
Oh, Fall Guys. Shouts to Ron Bean and everybody who enjoyed me playing Fall Guys on Twitch. What an era that was back in 2020 when I was losing my mind.
I will maintain to this day the most fun I've had playing video games in the last 3 years was playing Fall Guys.
Yeah, I've never cried laughing playing a video game unless it was Grand Theft Auto when I was killing hookers. But this was This was funny as hell, man. What a funny game. Shouts to the hookers that I killed in Grand Theft Auto.
That friggin' pinball machine at the end where it would just launch you.
Big Yeetus?
Big Yeetus.
Bro. Trying to get yeeted. Oh, back to Havana Syndrome, though. So, this is a quote from the State Department. Due to privacy concerns and for security reasons, we do not discuss specifics or embassy operations. We take each report we receive extremely seriously, and we are working to ensure that affected employees get the care and support they need. Essentially, go fuck yourselves. We don't know, and we're not talking about it. But the entire thing is weird. They have a whole investigation into this Havana Syndrome at this point, the United States government does, trying to get to the bottom of these incidents. And they they're inflicting profound physical and physiological harm, it says. And this has been going on for 5 years.
Yeah.
First reported by diplomats serving at the U.S. Embassy in Havana, which is where it got Havana Syndrome, 5 years ago. Symptoms include headaches, dizziness, cognitive difficulties, tinnitus, vertigo, trouble with vision, hearing, and balance. Many officials have suffered symptoms years after reporting an incident, while some have been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries. What? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's one of those. This is a very contentious thing. So here's from what I understand. I've done a little research. This is one of those news stories where whenever there's a lull in politics or COVID, this will show up as
rises back up to the top,
like the fifth thing down for a day.
Because people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's where we're at right now, kind of.
It's exactly where we're at right now.
So some people who are anti-government, right? When you think of the kind of person who would dive into Havana Syndrome, it would be somebody who's more open-minded in terms of conspiracies, right? But
diving in further than a couple articles, for sure. Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, though, is this is only affecting United States government officials. So the same people you would think will be all in on believing Havana Syndrome existed and was some sort of spy technology or microwave ray being blasted at the embassy.
That's a big theory, by the way.
Also, they go, well, wait, the U.S. government is just fucking lying to us. And these are just government officials who are either trying to get sick leave or are trying to get pensions or are trying to just fucking around and not doing their jobs.
That seems less likely to me, though.
I'm just saying there's two sides.
It seems like they're leaving too long of a paper trail if they're talking about years of ailments and years of medical reports and doctoring and
Ross, in 4 years, I'm going to take a year off for a traumatic brain injury that was caused by this podcast.
That wouldn't shock me at all.
So I'm just saying the idea that you can, oh my God, I need to go on sick leave and I had Havana Syndrome 5 years ago. What? That's just an excuse, in my opinion.
I don't know. You're straying into weird waters here.
I'm allowed to victim blame because they don't know what's happening.
About people with seasonal defective disorder? Affective? Which one is it?
Affective.
No,
because they have proven that that's a thing. There's no proof here on Havana Syndrome. They can't find anything. My current stance.
Allegedly, they're telling us they can't find anything. Here's the thing. If they found something and it was too scary to tell us, they wouldn't.
Ross, I will take the stance right now. I am victim blaming everybody who has Havana Syndrome. I do not believe you.
So far, now we've threatened Russia, apparently. We said, hey, our CIA director said, hey, if y'all are responsible for this, there would be consequences. Great threat.
Did they double were? If you were responsible, there would be consequences.
Here's what he said. If Russia was found to be responsible, there would be consequences.
Okay, so we're 2 steps away.
We're the most pussyfooting political country of all time. And the opposite at different times. We are very weird.
I just took my stance. I do not believe anybody who has Havana Syndrome or has ever claimed to have it. What's your stance?
There have now been 750 official reports of possible anomalous health incidents, according to people briefed on the cases. 3/4 no longer being investigated as likely cases of Havana Syndrome. Some reports lacked the required sensory experience, such as heat, pressure, or sound, before the symptoms onset, and others were found to have separate environmental or medical explanations. So it sounds like they have no fucking clue. Not a clue. The Biden administration does not think they were caused by functional illness or other psychosomatic reactions. Multiple explanations remain, including directed energy, sonic devices, or other medical explanations. Or other medical explanations pretty much means or anything else in the world.
Well, like I said, Ross, I'm going to have, if I ever get vertigo, you better believe I'm suing you because you spanking my tight little ass is giving me late onset vertigo.
It's Bolen media syndrome.
Holy shit.
Yeah, when you get your tight little ass spanked too many
Wait,
times.
there is a microwave in the kitchen.
That's true. We take that out back, make it a part of the spanking process. Baby, we've got a stew going. Jared, did you know that half of Americans are on crap health insurance plans with crazy high deductibles and copays and sky-high premiums, and it's a nightmare out there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to get my own insurance when I started Bolen Media and became self-employed, and it was awful. Worst process ever. You end up not even knowing what coverage you have and getting skewered. That's why we're excited to announce today's sponsor, CrowdHealth, bringing you today's episode of RBP. CrowdHealth. It isn't health insurance. It's a better way to pay medical expenses. CrowdHealth is a community of people who are tired of paying for a broken system, a place where you can get a simple, flexible, and affordable way to pay for your health care. Being in the CrowdHealth community can save hundreds of dollars monthly and put thousands of dollars back in your pocket. It's a membership situation where you're joining a community of health-conscious members who want to get healthy and stay healthy in return for lower prices. CrowdHealth gets rid of the insurance middleman and passes the savings on to its members. 100% of your monthly membership pays for actual healthcare costs, helping the whole CrowdHealth community stay healthy while keeping more money in your pocket. It's like, crowdsourcing your own little CrowdHealth community here. Membership as a monthly subscription, start or stop whenever it's convenient to you. It's simple and transparent pricing, customized to fit your needs, and CrowdHealth lowers your monthly healthcare costs, and you can see any doctor you want. Able to offer amazing prices because of its community of health-conscious members, but for a limited time, our listeners get their first month free. And after you've been a member, CrowdHealth will include a fitness wearable like an Apple Watch. That's 30 days to try risk-free plus the fitness wearable. Just go to joincrowdhealth.com/fit and order code RBP at sign-up. That's joincrowdhealth.com/fit. Code RBP at sign-up. CrowdHealth is not health insurance. It's a community-powered alternative. Terms and conditions may apply. Jared, huge announcement in the world of sports revolving around something that has been compared to what you know and love, Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
And the show Drive to Survive that brought it to such prominence in the United States and entered F1 racing into the mainstream, you could argue, which has been a huge part of why Formula Bone, your F1 brand and podcast, Formula Bone F1 show, have been spawned.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the PGA, Professional Golfers Association, is attempting to create their own version of a Drive to Survive-esque series revolving around the lives of several of the most prominent and famous golfers in the world to be aired on Netflix.
Not only are they trying to replicate Drive to Survive for the PGA Tour, they're literally using Box to Box Films, the exact same production company that does Drive to Survive.
So they basically went to Box Films and were like, we want you to do this, but for us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I will say this, the PGA, the golfers that they got for this, extremely good. Extremely good lineup they got. They got, I believe it was 5 of the top 7 ranked golfers in the world to be in this.
Yeah, it's outrageous. Spieth, JT, Ricky, Brooks, Koepka, DJ, Morikawa, Hovland, Xander, Berger, Sergio, Finau,
Max Homa,
Dahmen, Poltz, Homa, Higgs, Bubba, Fitz, Champ, Answer, Fleetwood, Pereira, Nakajima. I mean, it's a lot.
As somebody who's watched a lot of golf, some people find it boring. Before you play golf, if you don't play golf, golf is extremely boring to watch, I think, unless it's a Sunday of a tournament.
Golf is extremely boring to watch if you play golf, Jared.
No,
I play golf. I love playing golf. But it has to be Sunday of the tournament.
Yeah.
And that's to get a full-blown energetic sports experience.
Yes.
Now, I also love and respect watching golf on a Saturday for nap time, the same way I do a good regular season baseball game. But until it's the final round, I cannot get the, as locked in and amped up as I do for an NFL game or a, NBA playoff game, say,
Yeah, well, when I said I watch a lot of golf, I mean I watch a lot of golf Sundays.
Sure.
I do not watch You want me to watch Thursday round?
Bro, hardcore golf fans are all about watching the whole thing, and they're crazy. Especially, well, here's the thing. Masters, I'm watching the whole thing.
Yeah. But, I mean, the thing is, when you say hardcore golf fans, you mean gambling degenerates.
That is basically what I mean, yes. Degenerate gamblers are the most hardcore golf fans.
Yes.
That comprises a lot of hardcore golf fans. Golfers love gambling.
Oh, my God.
Like Phil Mickelson, notorious gambler. Now they've made it into a TV show thing where he plays one other guy, and they, it's all covered by sponsors, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But Phil, I guarantee you he bets on the side. I'm serious. I've been told by sources close to Phil that he goes hard. It's like a full blown public persona for him now.
Yeah.
The gambling Phil thing.
He'll be in a mid-tournament and turn over and be like, hey, I bet you whatever that I beat you on this hole. And they're like, okay.
I bet you your wife's 2-hole. What?
Yeah, so
Okay, so do you think this can work is my question.
Oh, yeah.
The PGA Drive to Survive. Oh, yeah?
So here's why. I know for a fact that a lot of these golfers are really entertaining people. Number one, Max Homa. Max Homa is in my opinion, most likable golfer on the tour. If you follow him on Twitter.
See, I'm not that familiar with Max, so I'm excited to get into
great.
Max Homa now.
Yeah, he won at Riviera last year, I believe. It was like his home course. It was really cool.
Wow.
So Max Homa has one of the best bits of any athlete on Twitter. You send him a video of your swing, and he completely fries it. Like
I love that.
No holds barred, roasts the absolute shit out of your swing. Like
So he's a funny guy too.
Oh, he's really funny. Yeah, and so he's the guy. Remember that?
Now, I agree with you on this part. That a lot of golfers have there are great personalities in golf, but there's the flip side of that, which is where my counter argument comes in, if I may.
Oh yeah.
Look, I've interacted with a number of professional golfers at this point, whether it be because of something we were doing at work or, getting to meet one or whatever the fuck. But some of them are, in terms of their image, more careful than any other professional athletes. I'll give you an example. Jordan Spieth. When we were working at our old job, Jared and I, and we had a connection with Spieth, and at one point, we put up a photo that was sent in to us of him on his private jet after his Masters win, or actually the photo was taken many months before after another win, but we put it up right after his Masters win, because that's when it was sent to us, of him shooting the bird.
Double birds
on a private jet. Badass photo, normal 18-year-old behavior at that point. He was very, very young, like fresh out of UT. And his management team freaked the fuck out. They emailed in and they were like, you have to take this down immediately. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it down. Give me an interview with Jordan. And they were like, yeah, go fuck yourself. We'll send you a signed Masters flag. And I was like, 2. And they did it. They sent 2. And I ended up with both of them. They're both here in Bolen Media on the wall outside.
Oh.
Yeah. Shouts to no one at Grand X for ever asking me where the other one was. I just took it with me. And I have it now. And you can never take it back. You can take it from my cold, dead fucking fingers as I clutch it.
As you're being metaverse medevaced.
Yes, exactly. And in the metaverse, I want to be told that I got to hold it still, and they never took it from me. But here's my point: Spieth is not gonna I've only watched 10 minutes of Drive to Survive that I just happened to catch or whatever. I don't know that they can pull off the same level of narrative storytelling, because most of the narrative stuff in golf is about these guys rumors around them banging each other's wives and stuff like that. That's the most interesting shit in golf. These guys are not real shit talkers. They don't have, it's not like Tiger was the most, controversial golfer of all time. He's the guy that had all the storylines around him. They don't even have Rahm participating in this.
So
he's the world number 1.
I have Max Verstappen's not going to participate in the next season of Drive to Survive.
No shit.
He's going to be...
There's this contract stuff?
Oh, he said he didn't want to do it because he thinks they paint him out to be a villain, which is great content for Drive to Survive. So it's kind of works out.
Is it not great for him too, though? I feel like, anyway.
Okay,
people like a villain is what I mean.
Yeah, but
a lot of people root for the Joker, bro.
I mean, Max Verstappen is second most popular driver. And so all the Max fans hate, a lot of them hate Drive to Survive because season 1, they paint him out to be this massive asshole. And then also a lot of Americans didn't like him. So, I mean, he's not an asshole. He's a very specific type of guy. But the point being, I agree with you. I do not think that the PGA Tour version will have the same narrative drama as the golf one, as the Formula 1 one, because number one, Formula 1, team sport. You have all the drama that goes with a team sport. You have the drivers fighting to prove they're better in the same car. Now, the big thing that's going to happen, though, with the PGA Tour one, you know how you say, oh, the only fucking narrative is them banging each other's wives, which is true. Shouts to Jimmy Walker. He's a cuck.
Allegedly. Yeah, but there's some stories around Jimmy and, Dustin and Jimmy's wife. and Dustin and most of the tour's wives at this point.
Yeah, allegedly.
Frankly. Allegedly. Lots of stories, man. Golf's a fucked up world.
The point being, when you watch Formula One, you could never have believed the crazy narratives that are lying hidden beneath the surface of the sport. I think that is what we'll get in the PGA Tour documentary.
Okay.
You're gonna learn. You're gonna be like, holy shit! I never knew all this shit that was going on.
So you think there's enough that has never really been uncovered in the world of golf that this will bring light to and give us even more detail and even more drama and even more stuff to get bought into.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I can see it, man. And look, here's the thing. I was not aware that the same production company was taking it on. That is big because they have obviously handled Drive to Survive very well. If they can handle this with the same level of success, then we're in for a treat, because I'm telling you, golf has always failed in the same way that Major League Baseball has in this realm. To market their players the way that the NBA does, the way that the NFL does. Think about it. The NFL always has face guys. Brady for 20 years, basically. But, the number of quarterbacks and running backs and star wide receivers and defensive players that they have constantly working as the face guys, representing the league, doing personality-based shit everywhere.
And baseball has Mike Trout, who I couldn't recognize if he walked by me in public.
And he's the ultimate example for baseball that they'll never get over. Is people that they never properly marketed Mike Trout, potentially the greatest player of all time, and people don't even know what he looks like. The joke is always that if you saw him on the street, you wouldn't even know. And he's the GOAT. Be like, if you didn't know who LeBron James was, that's the equivalent. It's fucking insane. And golf has always had the same problem until one, Tiger Woods. And that broke the whole game open into the mainstream in a different way that had never been done before, and obviously brought in a ton of black people that had never been willing to watch golf before, as it was basically an all-white sport. And it just changed the face of the game completely. And it made it more exciting and brought in all the elements of, I don't want to say, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Another word for drama.
Not controversy.
Controversy. All the controversial shit. Golf was this gentleman's clean game before, and then Tiger was getting hit in the head with an iron by his wife as he crashed his Escalade into a tree and shit, like getting pulled over, getting fucking just pilled out of his damn skull on camera. Now, I'm talking about particularly sad moments in this man's life that I hope he has since recovered from fully. It seems he has in some ways, but he's gone through a lot, Tiger. But the point being, like, guys like Dustin Johnson, I mean, he's been busted with coke, the stories we just talked about. He's married to Wayne Gretzky's daughter.
Didn't he not play in the Masters because he claimed he slipped wearing socks going down the stairs?
And there were a lot of stories and rumors around that whole thing that were then disproven, in fact, or actually just like flat out somebody came out and said, like, that's not what happened.
Yeah. Here's my prediction, though.
So this could be interesting.
I do not think so. Formula One, Drive to Survive does not get too deep into the personal lives of the drivers, aside from showing you what their life outside of racing is like. They don't get into rumors. Like, a lot of the speculation that we talk about, the drama in golf, they're not going to get into. They're not going to get into Dustin Johnson banging wives.
Not at all. They're not going to touch any of that, because here's the thing. It's produced by the PGA and Netflix. So the PGA has a full control over this narrative, too. They're going to be approving this. It's not going to be some tell-all thing, and that's what my main takeaway here for people. We're not going to get what I'm hoping for.
No.
We're going to get the clean-cut version of this that's done for the highest amount of people to be able to enjoy.
But what we are going to get that I think is going to be amazing, my favorite thing in Formula One is that you can get the behind the scenes of the athletes mid-race. So what we're going to get is, like, I've always wanted to know what's going through the leader's head on a Masters Sunday, for example, when he knows the guy in second is charging. The guy, oh my God, the guy in second just went birdie, and I went par.
Okay.
What are they saying to their caddy? What's going on in their head?
Yeah, but you bring up a good point. The intensity of Drive to Survive is based on the fact that these gentlemen are in race cars at high speeds with the potential of death. The intensity of golf is like you hit a great shot and fist pump your caddy and walk to the next shot.
Yeah, but it being an individual sport, like, imagine the nerves. I've always thought this.
This is what I'm saying, though. They're not going to give us the inside narrative. Do you think these dudes are going to spill their innermost fucking thoughts and shit?
Yes.
Golfers are head cases, dude.
No, afterward. No, I'm not saying mid round. It'll be like, oh, you'll get the 5 words he says to a caddy, and then you're going to have Jordan Spieth saying, yeah, so, like, right here,
get in there, ball.
I don't know. I just think it's going to be really entertaining, because I've always thought, for example, knowing in your head, me saying to you, hey, Ross, here's the deal. All you have to do is go and stick this 150-yard 6-iron. That'll be a terrible 6-iron for you. That's insulting. I'm sorry. 150-yard 8-iron shot.
Actually, you were spot on. Go back. That's my distance, man. I don't know what's wrong with me, but yeah,
You're so
I'm a
tall.
strong lad
You're
in
so
a
tall.
big band. I don't know what it is, Jared. Go ahead. It's the chicken legs.
Okay, 150-yard 6-iron shot. All you have to do is put it close enough to where you two-putt, and then you win $1 million, and you're in a part of golf history. And you need to walk up and then do all these things mechanically correct. Golf is insane to me.
Golf is insane as life. I've said it before. It's like golf, the swing thoughts you have in golf, and how there's 180 of them. That's me every day with my life, and it's the same exact problem. And I always forget like 3 of them and hit a bad shot.
Yep.
You know? That's how it goes. We ran out of time today. We had a couple more things to discuss that we'll get to on Friday on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, where every week Jared and I are ad-free for another brand new, all-new material episode, only for those supporting our show on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. So make sure you tune in this week. Get in there, support the show. Look, this year we really are trying to get to 2,000 people. And we're just over 1,000 right now. That means we need double. So we need twice as many of you. If you've never been on there, I beg you, you will love it. You will enjoy it. It is worth the $5 minimum pledge that you need to get access. And you
hours
get
and
our whole
hours of
backlog,
content.
man. It's so worth it. So get in there, patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast today. Shouts to Maya Angelou, who is on the quarter now. It took physical currency completely losing its place in the world for the government to put a black woman on the quarter, which is weird. But
It's not great.
But
it happened.
shouts to Maya Angelou. She rules. Yeah. Also, congratulations to Weed and Megan Fox on their engagement.
I am weed.
Somebody said they're Mr. and Mrs. Weed now. They're both weed. Huge. Good for them. We might talk about that more on Friday as well. We'll be back soon. Support our sponsors. Make sure you go to birddogs.com. Use that code RBP when you check out. And for those of you looking for a alternative to health insurance, CrowdHealth. Join crowdhealth.com/fit, promo code RBP. Again, not health insurance, community-based, community-powered alternative. Terms and conditions may apply. Be back Friday. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. Appreciate y'all. Love you. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Holler at Jared and I on social media at Jared Borislow, at WR Bolen. New episode of Formula Bone F1 show out now wherever you're listening to RBP. New Sopranos, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, covering the Sopranos episode by episode on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. Get in there as well if you want to watch the Sopranos with Barrett Dudley and I. That is it. Goodbye. We love you.
I am weed.